From Fox 13, this is Good Day Tampa Bay.
All right, we're now 9 days away from knowing the next president of the United States, and you can bet the jokes, the talk, the Facebook chatter, the texting from candidates is getting ready to heat up. It's enough to drive you crazy no matter which side you're rooting for. Nothing is off limits. But in the workplace, it's a different story. There's a fine line to walk. You have to be careful, too. Heather Brock is an employment attorney from Fowler White Boggs, and she joins us. Good morning to you, Heather.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being on the show. Yes. Okay, so we know it's unrealistic to think that we're not going to talk politics in the workplace. I mean, it's sort of a, it's a heated election. We're close. What is the thing that you see that's most common that's problematic?
Well, we're all inundated with all of these ads all the time, and so to think that you can shut your brain off or, when you come into the office is unrealistic. The trouble becomes when employees create a hostile work environment potentially for their coworkers because they're talking about political issues that then stray into categories that are protected by our civil rights laws.
And then at what point can you get fired because of that?
Well, if you were the one who created a harassing environment and an investigation is done and you're found to be a harasser, you're putting your job in jeopardy. There's so much talk about the economy in this election, and I think you want to protect your own personal economy, which means keeping your job.
We were talking about it earlier, and you said there's a real misconception that this kind of talk is protected under the First Amendment, that you say no.
That's correct. I mean, we're so strong in our founding fathers, values and having a First Amendment right to free speech, but it doesn't extend to the private sector workplace generally.
So they're well within their rights to do whatever, depending on their policy, as it relates to employers.
Correct. A lot of employers will use their anti-bullying and anti-harassment policies to keep everybody protected in the workplace.
You would hope that you could keep the conversation civil, but a lot of people, it starts that way and then they just get heated up and, things kind of get out of control. And I think even for those folks, they look back and think, man, I should have toned it down a little. There was an extreme case, and I know it's an extreme case, but an article in the New York Daily about a company that sent letters to its employees warning them to vote for a certain candidate or, quote, suffer the consequences. Is that legal?
Well, the trouble there is that you then are crossing over a line where the employer may be violating its own corporate policy against bullying and maybe actually intimidating its employees, which can be illegal under different statutes.
And so the rules are different for employers then because of the undue influence that they have?
I think they can be, yes.
Yeah. What about taking time off to vote? What does Florida law say about that?
Well, we don't have specific laws about that, but the polls are open for 12 hours, and I certainly would counsel employers to encourage their employees to vote for the candidate of their choice. And if someone ends up being a few moments late, I wouldn't fire that employee for that tardiness.
I kind of understand a little bit. All right, Heather Brock, we'll leave it there, but thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
Interesting topic. All right, we'll send it back over to you, Ann Russell.